Oh, yes, 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 yes. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the globe. It is your darling program, The Comrade and Friends, a segment of The Comrade Show. Today, the 20th of October 2024, we are back on your screen again. I must say that the events that have happened in our dear country, Nigeria, over the last few months, and of course in our dear Edo State, has not been very pleasant. And sometimes the motivation seems to be leaving us. But we are committed to bringing you good tidings, good news, and current happenings. Of course, that would account to some of the reasons why we have not really been on air. But today is special. Apart from looking at the state of Nigeria, which we are just going to gloss through, there is something happening in our dear Edo State and in our kingdom, the kingdom of Benin City. Our monarch, the chief leopard or the king leopard, like Comrade would always say, the Oba of Benin. His birthday is today, and Edo State and indeed Benin City has been agog. We shall be taking a very important look at our kingdom and seeing where we are, where we ought to be, knowing fully well that the position of His Royal Majesty is one of a great difference in Nigeria. It is with only very few to compare in Nigeria, where that too is by hereditary, and as such, leave no moment or situation for doubt or confusion when our Oba transit. It's very seamless and very smooth, unlike other ones. That alone stand us out and make it unique. And as Edolites, it will be out of place for a day like this to pass without having and bringing our program to you, where we shall focus our attention on the Omonobanedo Okwakpolopolo or Baewaye the second. Please stay tuned. We shall be right back. Do not touch that dial. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. In the intro, I did inform us that we shall talk a little about politics today and zero in on the Benin Kingdom, where our monarch is celebrating his birthday. And by extension, we would say that the entire kingdom is celebrating. I'm not alone in the house today. I have the sincere of the Comrade Show, who has just come back from the spirit world, knowing everything is adorned and fully dressed in this very lovely attire. Comrade Lante, today is indeed our day. Our Oba of Benin is celebrating. Can you greet our people?
Thank you very much, Comrade Pharmacist Iremira. Yes, those state people and Nigerians across the world, greetings to you all. It's a pleasure coming your way again. It is a Comrade Show. Please don't go away. It's going to be very interesting. Thank you. Over to you, Pharmacist.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lante. You are looking very good. You always say you know the Ozinomoto and the Wiwizim of the whole area. I dare say yari for you.
Yari.
Thank you so much, my brother. But Comrade Lante, we understand that the situation in our dear Nigeria and indeed Edo State has been a bit very difficult. And like you always say, Comrade Lante, things appear to be very magical. And we've seen lots of magic happen. And then that leaves us, sometimes you are weary, sometimes perplexed, and sometimes feeling very, very you are not excited anymore to say things, because it looks like the more we look, the less we see. And the more we try to reason, the less our brain become even very docile. Is it the issue of River State? Is it the issue of different states? Is it the issue of Kogi State? Is it the EFCC? What else? Everything seems to be a bit wishy-wishy somehow. We shouldn't be negative about our country. They say there will always be a ray of hope because we have life. As we speak just now, the president and the vice president are not even in our country. While one would argue that it's a digital world, you can operate anywhere, but their absence, you agree with me, it's not very palatable. I have never witnessed in my entire life where the sitting vice president and the sitting president of great United States will not be in situ. But of course, that's what our country has become. So, Comrade Lamte, there's a lot to talk about, but I even in Edo State, and things are happening. The Edo State government has just set up their transition committee, and I think that of APC as well. I believe they are interfacing, but there are different information here and there coming, and sometimes it doesn't seem very palatable. But I can't bring you to this saddle and don't talk about Edo State. I know our focus today will be the Oba of Benin and his anniversary. But put your mouth in the issues concerning Nigeria. Looking at, let's say, River State and even Edo State as we witness this transition for a new government in another, hopefully, another 3 to 4 weeks. Well, what's your immediate reaction?
First, I want to thank you, coming from my sister Iremiran. You know, sometimes it's really difficult to find motivation. You know what I mean? May we not persistently be in an environment where we look like we are taking some steps forward, but actually we are taking a lot more steps backward. And I think that is the state of Nigeria just now. Of course, we were part of the governorship election process in Edo State. We did see how that was executed, and the danger just now that our own political environment is confronting vis-a-vis the entirety of the Nigerian state is definitely palpable. And moving away from Edo State, of course, we've seen lots of drama evolving from River State. And we see the role of our own judicial system and every other thing. Everything that you seem to cling onto to say these ones are the things that should form the body of the ray of hope that Nigerians would have. All of them are all complicit, more or less. And so at the end of the day, you sit down, you think about Nigeria, you ask yourself, where really lie, that hope that somebody can say, okay, there is a ray of hope in this, particular department or in this institution. There appears to be none. You understand what I'm saying now? And somehow it's almost becoming business as usual. And it is so sad that we had, a very turbulent 8 years of Muhammadu Buhari, hoping that we will transit into a new government that will take us closer, to a Nigeria that everybody can, believe in. Only for Bola Ahmed Tinubu to get himself elected, more or less, become president of Nigeria, and now, instead of us vilifying President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigerians are beginning to sing the praises of Muhammadu Buhari, who actually took Nigeria from a place, where at least in Nigeria something good could be built on, but dipped Nigeria into an abyss, But right now, the abyss has gone deeper and is getting to a place of no return under the watch of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whom of course, rightly, posited and submitted. That as we speak, it's not even in Nigeria. It's resident in another mass country, and his vice president is not in Nigeria. So, and this is how they see Nigeria. And when you look at the other side of it, the masses, the populace, we seem not to even know what our rights are. Even for those who probably even seem to understand that we have some rights that we can act on, to bring some senses, as a matter of fact, to the system. Everybody is complicit. Everybody is compromising one way or the other. So at the end of the day, for those of us who are in the vineyard of making our voices heard, for the betterment of Nigeria, we look back sometimes and you ask yourself, what is the point? Particularly when every time you take to speak to the issues of Nigeria, it's costing you some money somewhere. You understand what I'm saying? Now you begin to ask yourself, what is actually the point? Because right now, nobody seems ready. And it's a shame, it's heartbreaking. Honestly, it's a matter right now that is beginning to lead to a huge mental health burden on very many people who are patriotic, like myself.
Absolutely, Comandante. You couldn't have been more clear. I think your perception just now cut across a huge lot of Nigerian people, especially those outside Nigeria, who continue to put effort, but it looks or appear or seems like the effort is not yielding fruit. But like they would always say, Comandante, once there is life, there is hope. Maybe it's a process that we have to pass through, but that's where we are. Today, really, our focus is more on celebrating the good thing happening in our kingdom. But just before we let go of the state of Nigeria in terms of politics, you are from Edo State, I'm from Edo State, and we are first Edo State people before Nigeria. So
Absolutely.
it will be out of place not to also draw your mind back, although it borders on what you've already said. And these were some of the things we saw, or I particularly saw, that I think I didn't give my support to the governor elect. And if he's coming to roast, given the Nigerian situation, I will not be surprised. It's just that I'm concerned because this will be a greater degree. Now you must have seen in different social media handles, it's an alleged. I can't be sure of this, but of course, maybe the story makers would have got one or two information already why this is going around. That the governor elect is in serious trouble. They are disturbing information because the big wigs of the APC who fought tooth and nail to ensure that he became victorious in the last governorship elections are already asking for some credit. When I mean credit now, they are already making demands on appointments, who to appoint and all. I even read that one camp is already fighting the other camp, and some other camps are saying that they will go ballistic and probably go to highest heaven to let those people know how this governor was elected. If we go by that, if those statements are true, it's another worrying situation, maybe more like Rivers. I just wanted to say a word or two about this, if you've heard as well, or if you're just hearing for the first time. It cause for worry. The governor elect has not even taken office, and there's so much insinuations about would-be appointment. I feel for Governor elect Senator Monday Okpebholo. I think the vultures around him, if that statement is true, he has a very peculiar task to overcome, and it might not be good news for those state people.
First and foremost, my brother, let me thank you very much. It's there are some things that you don't need prophets to let you into. You just know. On this table, some of us have decided that our integrity will be most important. It will come before everything. And so we refuse to compromise ourselves. We've always done so. We never compromise ourselves. But you don't need a prophet to tell you that this will happen. That was why, that's why we were here day and night, trying to, enlighten the people, to alarm the people and let them know what to expect. Now, if this does not happen, that will be what will be a surprise to me. If it is happening, it's not a surprise, but it's my expectation that's going to happen. The premise upon which I supported my candidate, Olumide Akpata, I do understand that he's not a perfect man like every human being is, but I saw the baggage already that will come with Okpebholo. I saw it already. As a matter of fact, Barrow was not in charge of his campaign. You understand what I'm saying? It got to a point where when he was being interviewed, it was being called upon to appear, in an interview on one of the national television stations. Somebody suggested that, what's his name, Adams Oshomole should go and represent him. And the question was asked, is it Adams Oshomole that's running or is it Okpebholo? But apparently, what we saw throughout the process was that the man who's been elected, is, without due respect, it's not Okpebholo, it's Adams Oshomole. So at the end of the day, with Adams Oshomole camp, with Yamu, with so many other vultures, you understand what I'm saying now? It is expected that things like this will happen. There will be tension, there will be friction. Now, if he's able to manage all of this and still govern, it remains to be seen. But the challenges are real because most of the people that are getting themselves around him now that are going to be demanding for their own portion, These are people that the current government has shut out of government. You understand? Many of them have no other address other than feeding from the doorstep of politics. You understand? And at the end of the day, if they open their mouth as vultures to feed on the collective patrimony of those people and Nigerians, what is going to suffer is healthcare delivery. Good roads will suffer. What's it called? Security will suffer. So everything that will benefit the general public will definitely suffer. However, this said, with all of the tension already brewing, you understand what I'm saying now, and what we have projected will happen, I still do think that there is a window. Since that, this governor's, office of the governor has been thrust on Monday, whether we argue it as, being through a corrupt process or whatever process it is, on the 11th of next month, he's going to be sworn in as the governor of Edo State.
On the 12th.
I mean, on the 12th. I think that he now has a responsibility to look at all that is around him and ask himself the fundamental question: if I allow all of this to, do as they please, will I succeed as governor of Edo State? So, at a point in time, and before long, I can tell you and I can assure you that the euphoria of just being elected will be gone. The reality will confront him. The federal government of Nigeria is not going to help him because the policies and programs of the federal government of Nigeria is already hurting Nigerians and Edo State people. And so people are going to expect that even though Nigeria as a country, the federal government is failing, and woefully so, what is the state government bringing that is alleviating the suffering of the people? Now, if that is not there, he may not have it as easy as Obaseki may have had it. The reason why I say so is this: if Obaseki, was probably from a different tribe, he probably the what's it called the issues he has had with the Edo State people, may have experienced a different approach from the people of Edo State. So I think Ogbewolo has a lot to do. First, to stamp himself and register himself as the governor of Edo State, not a prosy, governor. As the governor, because we cannot afford to have a governor and not have a governor. And that is where we appear to be driving into right now. But God help him. If he does well, of course, we are going to applaud him and support him. But we'll be here to be critical of his administration. But the hope is really, really slim. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. To our viewers, I want to beg all of us, you know the deal. Please share, and share. Our lines are open from now. You can ring in, even though we've talked about the topics that you want to talk about. You can ring in. We'll be happy to take any comments from you. Today is just going to be a very easy one. But of course, we can't come to you and be on screen without talking about politics, indeed, in Nigeria and indeed in Edo State.
Yeah.
Comrade Lamte, as an aside, life is really, really, like they say, very sublime. It's just simple. I cannot believe that in less than 3 weeks, the exalted Imaton, Governor Godwin of Obaseki, who has been in the helm of affairs for 8 years and also in the corridor of power for 16 years, is about to leave the seat for somebody else. That's a very big lesson for the governor-elect, Senator Monday Okpewolo, who will become the governor of Edo State come November 12, 2024. Before we know, 2027 or 2028 will be here. And before you know, 2032 will be here. So it's always good to leave your name, a good name at that, in the sand of time. I must thank Ekato Austin and I think the other man, Moses Africa. They've been very active in leaving comments. Thank you very much. All your comments are worth it. whether negative or positive, it doesn't really matter. It counts indeed towards the progress of our dear Edo State and indeed our polity. We will still be here to put our mouth in issues, and you've also advised that we should seriously push for a diaspora agency. That was on the saddle with Governor Gordon of Baseki. Somehow, it didn't make it materialize. Let's see if Senator Mondo Okpewolo would do things differently.
Yeah.
All we owe Edo State and indeed our governor-elect, governor coming, is to pray for them. Because when Edo State is better, all of us, we are all better. We are here for the progress, growth, development of our dear Edo State. So, Komelante, I'm very conscious of time. We are going to almost half hour mark from 5 o'clock. I want us to use the remaining half hour left in today's program to talk about our kingdom. We are fortunate to be alive. I am fortunate to be alive to witness in my entire life the second Oba. I think the third, because I was still a toddler. I was still a toddler when I think the Oba before this died in 1978, 79.
Oba Akenzo,
So at least I can say that I've seen three, and of the three,
in Benin we say you have served 3 Obas.
I have served 3 Obas. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I've served 3 Obas, and the one before this one was the one I served more because it was more from my infancy to my childhood and then to my adulthood. But of course, it's always very sweet. Remember going from Ikbobai to Ring Road, once you get to Airport Road, there is a sign of scenery and sublimation. I hope it's still there. So much so that when you are walking past the palace, trekking towards St. Paul's, you are told from that long fence, you don't talk, you just keep going. You know, it's so majestic. And to see that our Oba is now celebrating his birthday, and by extension, the Benin Kingdom celebrating their birthday. And you are a proper Benin man, the one that knows it all. You must be elated. I must also say 2 things remarkable about our dear kingdom. And you have said it before, that the Benin Kingdom, they were so powerful in strength and might. The only thing they didn't do, which of course the British did, when they conquer towns and villages, they did not take control to take them along. If not, I believe the whole of Africa would have been for Benin Kingdom if they've done that. And I must also say that our royals too is so unique. Once there's a transition, we don't go to court. We know who takes over. And I think that is the beauty of the Oba of Benin in the entire Africa and indeed Nigeria. And I think that put us in a very different pedestal from every other kingdom in the whole of Africa, comparable to the kingdom where we live now, the United Kingdom. So that alone is a special grace. And on this note, we must celebrate our Oba, who I understand, I hope I get it correctly, is 71st year on Mother Earth. We pray for many more years to come so that his reign will witness growth, seismic growth at that. And our dear Edo State will witness development everywhere. It is well documented that the outgoing government did not have a very good relationship with the palace. But of course, the palace will not come out to say anything. But when these insinuations come out, sometimes there's a bit of credit. But I must salute the dexterity, the bignicism, if there's a word like that, the uniqueness of our Oba of Benin. What comes to mind, seeing him dancing when he received Ohoho, the way he was dancing, it was very majestic. Komelanti, take it from there. Oba of Benin, 71st year anniversary, 8th year on the throne of his father.
What can we really say, bro? The truth is, and I've always said this, that we must celebrate our essence. The Benin man, the average Benin man, derive our essence from the palace. Today, when you look at the African Americans, one of the biggest struggles that you find amongst them till today is the issue of identity. A lot of them travel from America Some have been to Ghana and other places to say they are tracing their roots back to where they originally came from. Today, for many of us are from Edo State, Benin's, and other Edo State indigenous alike. We are not like the Black Americans. We can easily trace our origins. We know where we are from. We know who our fathers are, and we know where we are coming from. This throne of the Oba of Benin has been existing for hundreds of years. As a matter of fact, some history, a document, have it that this throne have been existing for over 700 years and all of that. That is a long time. And of course, for many of us too that are children of history, we can still relate to many of the stories of the heroics of our past Obas. Okay, and all of the works and the effort of our Obas was to ensure that we preserve a kingdom that is unique, a kingdom that is worth celebrating. And so, we must understand, and I will always push that because I understand that my essence, I live in the United Kingdom. I've been away from home for a long time, but everywhere I go, everywhere I interact, I do remember whom I am. I know where my father's house is. I know where I am from. That when push comes to shove, okay, I know where to run to. And that is what Benin Kingdom represents. Do you know, my brother? Some days ago, I came across, this is about the third time this is happening. I came across a young lady from, she's from the Ga people of Ghana. And we were talking, and at some point she says she's from Ghana and she's from amongst the Ga tribe. And I told her, I am from Nigeria. She said, are you Igbo or Yoruba? I said, no, I am from Benin Kingdom. I am a Benin man. And she said, oh, we know the Benin history. We, the Ga people of Ghana, we are equally from Benin. We trace our ancestry to Benin Kingdom. Bro, I was honestly shocked. And, to make it light, I told her, I said, then you are my sister from a different mother. So we laughed about it. And I began to tell her some of the great exploits of the kingdom. Like you said earlier, Benin, okay, is the only kingdom in history, okay, that has remained palpable even in Western history. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Benin Kingdom is the only kingdom that people still read about. Benin moat is still being talked about. You know, the exploits of the Obas before our ancestors, okay, they are still being talked about. Today, we have well over 3,000 to 5,000 artworks littered across global museums. Okay, that we are, agitations are ongoing to get them returned. I told somebody here, a professor, of contemporary art here in the United Kingdom, we were talking about the Benin art in British Museum. And I told him, point blank, I said, why the British are making money, okay, from the art in the various museums, treating it, with the aesthetic value that they have attached to it. But I told them, I said, man, those pieces of art that they see there, okay, in British Museum and across different museums in America, Germany, everywhere, okay, they are a documentation of the history of the Benin people. Our history, okay, for us is not complete until we reconcile ourselves fully, okay, with all of these, art pieces, because every, piece of art in all of these museums is a clear documentation of our history. And he was trying to understand why, how. I told him, I said, those artworks were not made for aesthetic values. They were made, as functional, artwork, as functional pieces relevant to the people. And until the people get all of these art pieces back, their history will not be complete, which is why the effort is there to ensure that both the British, the Americans, everywhere we have our artworks, they all return back to Benin. Now, the reason why I put this just as a, as an aside, an addendum to this process, is to make us understand that we are a people, okay, specially created by Udazi. And that is why the Benin man will say, Arasore do Edo Odion, Edo Rasoroma, Edo Yele Odion. You know, and that is why we say that Obanyato, Kedo Yaserebo. These are very significant sayings, okay? The value of these sayings, they are not just on the face value. You know what I'm saying now? They speak deeply into our essence, into who we are. And that is why it is incumbent on every Benin man to hold the palace and the throne of the Oba of Benin in very high esteem, defend it, you know, and guide it jealously. As a matter of fact, there's a lot more we need to do to ensure that we keep projecting the throne of the Oba of Benin. We keep projecting the palace. As we speak, King Charles of the United Kingdom is in Australia. He's been celebrated. The whole world is talking about this particular, you know, visit to Australia after a very long time. I think the first one.
Australia is still under the kingdom.
Yes, it's under the British Kingdom. You know, the whole world is talking about it. Every, you know, cable news right now is talking about it. I think that we need to do a lot more to put our palace on the global map. Nobody's going to do it for us. We are the ones going to do it ourselves. And listen to BBC. Every hour they are reporting on King Charles's visit to Australia and all of that. And when you look at it, when you talk of relevance, the most relevant throne today in this world is the throne of the Oba of Benin. Take it or leave it.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte, for that very wonderful, quite educative illustration and explanation of our great Benin Kingdom. Well, Comrade Lamte, as it is Agog, the Oba of Benin himself, the Ogidiga, drove to the cathedral today. Let's take that excerpt.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oba Erediawa at the Holy Arosa Church on his 8 years coronation anniversary today. You can see the Oba of Benin just arrived now today on his 8 years coronation anniversary. This is Holy Arosa Church along Apapava in Benin City. The Oba of Benin just arrived now on his 8 years coronation anniversary to do thanksgiving to God and the ancestors for sustaining him for these past 8 years and pray for more years on the throne of his forefather.
Yeah, Comrade Lante, thank you so much. I think that was really beautiful, very sublime, very majestic. I remember Holy Arosa Cathedral because going to Ogbe Stadium, and if I ever had the time of going to Ring Road, decide you choose to trek past there.
Yeah.
I've never been privileged to enter the cathedral, but I've touched the walls of the cathedral. I've got
Yes.
so close, and it's really good. It reminds us of Akpakpava, I think almost opposite domestic gas shop, if I remember. Or there's that market there. So it's such a lovely thing. Komelante, as I look at this, I just pray for the Oba, wish him good health, long life and prosperity, and above all, wisdom that he'll be able to guide our dear kingdom from one prosperity to another, and to another. I don't know if you want to say anything about that beautiful except you showed us, or you want me to follow up with my next question to you.
No, what you saw there. Of course, the video did not capture everything; just some excerpts. It's how the people, consciously or unconsciously, embrace their king, embrace their palace. Why you have a lot of people, the Holy Arosa is filled to the brain. You have lots of people outside. You know, it speaks to the value that we place in this particular institution. And so when the Oba is celebrating his anniversary like this, it's a reminder of our essence, which is why, overtly or covertly, people just see this as a responsibility they owe themselves. Because whether you like it or not, it is only when you lose your identity that you will understand that you have lost something. You understand what I'm saying? And the uniqueness of the Benin's is just so unfortunate that very many Benin's don't understand how unique, we are, how uniquely we have evolved as a people. You understand what I'm saying now? To make a lot more sacrifice, as it were, to ensure the continued preservation and elevation of this kingdom. You rightly alluded earlier. If the Benin Kingdom had used the policy of assimilation during the time of their conquest, I am sure that the whole of Africa today would have been Benin's. You understand? Because the Benin, by L.Y. Ogidigan, the first conquered. History tells us that the Oba conquered over 201 towns and villages. Oba Esigie conquered as much as 200 towns and villages, and all of that. These are historical exploits of who? Our Obas, our ancestors. You understand what I'm saying now? Now, if as in their conquest, they had, made it mandatory for the people that we conquer to learn our ways, learn our language, as the case is, today, the entire West African sub-region undoubtedly would have been Benin's. That said, the great Benin Kingdom cannot be described without us acknowledging references by even people who are not, well, in quote, not Benin's, okay, telling the world that they are Benin's. You understand what I'm saying now? Even to some people in Lagos, they tell you, man, we came from Benin. All over Delta, everybody's from Benin. Go to River State, most people are from Benin Kingdom. People trace their roots to this particular kingdom. So at the end of the day, the United Kingdom of Great Benin is one that everybody, you must find a way to cluster around, and project. You understand what I'm saying now? And every reference to I am from the kingdom is a valid reference. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? I think it speaks to how great this kingdom is, and of course, how privileged we are as a people that we are from a kingdom this great. And all we now need to do is to put our acts together and express this greatness in the things that we do to ensure that we continue to signpost the kingdom, over and above, several other things.
Yeah, thank you so much, Komilamte. I also wanted to say that I think in the entire history of Benin Kingdom, and indeed looking at other traditional rulers in Nigeria, I would say that the Benin Kingdom of the old Bende state, Delta and Edo State put together now, and maybe recently now Edo State, is one kingdom where there is no quarrel between other chiefs and other kingdom. There's always peace. I never grew up to say that the Oba of Otwo having any form of altercation with the Oba of Benin. There's been that uniqueness. And I think those state people, we need to really catch up on that. And I just wanted to put that there just to say how lucky we are that there's been a very friendly atmosphere where power drive from the Oba of Benin to other areas. We have enjoyed it, even though one can argue that there's been a bit of skirmishes in the last few years. We can't really say much about that because both parties have kept it very quiet. And I think that's very good because you don't want to say so much to cause much destruction. But we know what is happening. We know how great the kingdom is. So I'm laying this foundation just to ask my next question.
Yes.
Especially in this situation now, where history has been eroded away from Nigeria educational system. I hear there is concerted effort now to bring it back. But I think it will be good, even if Nigeria has refused to do that. I think educational sector in Edo State, we should find a way of bringing back our traditional history lessons back again. If not for anything, to focus on the involvement and development of the Benin Kingdom as it spread to other towns. Just before we came in, how correct this is, I don't know. But I was watching something on the internet. I think the people from Iseluku, they were telling us that the first kingdom created outside Benin was Iseluku, and that the Oba appointed the person that led them. So they have a direct.
Sorry,
So
but continue.
yeah, he was saying that they have a very direct link to the palace of the Oba of Benin. And I would say I grew up in Benin. I did my own lessons there. I'm just knowing now. So there are so many histories that we need to inculcate. So my question to you, Comrade Lamte, we are going to have a new government now. The government of Godwin Obaseki is almost gone. I think if our kingdom is to grow very well, there must be a massive interface between the government and the traditional institution. Correct me if I'm wrong. I used to know those days that we have commissioner for arts and culture. I don't know if we still have that now. But I believe that if all these interfaces are put together, it will benefit the state. As I watch the entry of our great monarch into Oli Arosa, all I was just trying to think in my head was to see the commercial value. If that has been well commercialized, those banners and all, hotels in Nigeria, in Edo State, to be filled up because people will come from far and wide. So there's a lot to benefit. I just want you to look at it and say a thing or two concerning government interface with the traditional council, with the traditional rulership in Edo State, and talking of the palace of the Oba of Benin, and the many benefits, I think, in my view, that will derive. Well, what would be your advice to the incoming governor, Senator Mondo Okpewolo, in trying to harness that beautiful area where I see as a lot of not just peaceful and convivial atmosphere, but it's going to bring a lot of financial and commercial rewards?
Well, I must thank you, pharmacist. I think first and foremost, you've weaved a lot of things into this question. First and foremost, starting from you citing Iseluku, I mean, that's not an isolated case. A lot of people, have, of course, traced their histories, and of course, they can relate to things like this, to talk about how they came from Benin Kingdom. Okay, and it's important, like you said earlier, when you try to establish that there's been a peaceful coexistence between the palace of the Oba of Benin and, of course, other traditional, councils. Let me quickly establish, my brother. The Benin man says, "Eto ason akinugba ola." No matter how hairy you are, we still know where your face day. The line where your face pass, we still know how. You understand what I'm saying now? So there cannot be friction between the palace and other traditional institutions in Benin Kingdom. You understand? Now, of a wording note, I want to understand this very so that people can learn from this. Every other traditional ruler, okay, without prejudices or whatsoever, with all due respect to every one of them, they are all addressed as their Royal Highness, His Royal Highness, His Royal Highness. But the Omonoba of Benin is addressed as His Royal Majesty. Okay? Now, what this speaks to is that every highness everywhere else in the kingdom, okay, has his own roots from the palace of the Oba of Benin. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So everybody will trace their, they are like rivers, tracing their tributaries to, the bigger this thing. So the palace of the palace created a lot of the kingdoms that are existing today. Now, when this same Luku says that they were the first kingdom created, in the days of the conquest by the kings of the kingdom, okay, when the Obas conquer, in very many of the cases, as we read in history, they will send one of the children of the palace or one of the children of the kingdom to the place to go and be an enogi or to go and be a paramount ruler, and that will start his own dynasty from there. Up until the time of Obavoran, a lot of these other dukedoms and kingdoms all around, okay, at the end of every harvest season, they pay obeisance to the palace of the Oba of Benin, with some of the choicest harvest they have made. You understand the picture what I'm saying now? To show that we recognize that this is where we are from, and that has come down from hundreds of years. And so even after we are gone, 100 years from now, some of these other dukedoms and others, what's it called, regions, will still continue to recognize, okay, the essence of the palace to them as the place where they derive their own roots from. So that must be significantly established. The line of respect for the hierarchy is not just because he is called the Oba of Benin or the palace of the Oba of Benin. It is because history has already registered a very strong establishment to say this is where we are from. Okay, this is where we are from, and this is where we are from. You know what I'm saying? And so that is what is, and that will continue to give the expression of this peaceful coexistence. Now, on the reference you made, okay, earlier to say that, now they're going to say, now it's a different matter altogether, which is not related to this particular one. However, the people still, accuse some human beings in government of Governor Baseki, as being culpable in some of these situations that appear to be, creating friction. You understand the picture of what I'm saying? And that, I would say, would dovetail into Senator Monday Ukbewulu right now being elected the governor of Edo State. And the way I would, what I would advise is that I think that Senator Monday Ukbewulu right now, by the time he's sworn in, one of the first things he needs to do is to nip all of these matters in the bud as quickly as possible. Because the strength that the other party have to be doing carrying out some of the shenanigans that we've been seeing is the strength given to them by the government of Governor Obaseki. You understand what I'm saying now? Which has not gone down well with the two state people. Everywhere the Oba goes now, when you hear one of the background songs is there is that "Oh Hyomba Tora Suhu, Oh Hyomba Tora Suhu." It's very significant, it's very symbolic. You understand what I'm saying? And the significance of that is that it shows how enraged people are that the privilege of having to govern the state for at most 8 years, okay, cannot be abused because you are there. Because right now, from in another 1 month from now, Obaseki is becoming history. But the man who will continue to be Oba, okay, will be the current Oba of Benin. You understand what I'm saying? There is no, it's a permanent, office. It's not a political office, which is why we can speak to it like this. So that is why the people can afford to be patient to say, when it is time. You understand what I'm saying? Isusu we go. You understand? And all of that. So the palace always engender that peaceful coexistence. And if you look at it, I mean, thank God, like you said earlier, we have been privileged and fortunate to have served 3 Obas. You understand what I'm saying now? And when you look at it, they've all engendered, you understand what I'm saying now? That peace, that harmony. What we have not done as a people is to recognize that this. I'm not talking to the area where you were talking about, a commercial values being placed on some things. The truth is, my brother, I hold my palace in high esteem, and I expect that all Benin's and Edo State people and people of the United Kingdom of Great Benin will do say. The Benin man says, "No nyakma or at your son, no man ya heko." You understand what I'm saying now? I don't know what to miss in what you able. You understand? But if you do not place value on what you own, the person who doesn't own it will treat this as rubbish. You get the picture from what I'm saying now? I think it's incumbent on every Benin person, everybody who will trace their roots to this kingdom, to elevate this kingdom so highly. And that is one of the ways that even tourism will thrive around this kingdom. For instance, I believe that Igwe Festival should be one of the most significant festivals
in the whole of
world.
Africa.
In the whole world, not just in the whole of Africa. My brother, I lived in Spain several years. We have the festival of we have San Fermin. We have the festival where you see them throw tomatoes. So you see the being chased by bull and all of that. This, with all due respect, it is the value they placed on their things. But all of this, when you look at them, and you even look at the story and history behind them, they hold far less value to what Igwe Festival is. You understand? Today, I would expect that we should have been able to package our kingdom, package our Igwe Festival in such a way that Igwe Festival will be raking in billions toward the kingdom of Benin in Edo State. But we have not done that. We need to look inwards. And of course, when you said that there is a need to bring, Benin language into school curriculum and every other thing, I am really, really worried. You understand what I'm saying now? By the issues that have to do with our language. The truth of the matter is that whether anybody likes it or not, okay, the number one currency of identity and culture is language. And it's just so unfortunate now, even as we speak, there are many Beninese who can't even express themselves in the language. There are many Beninese who are not even teaching their children some basic things. I like to say, and I beg everyone, whether you're in the diaspora or wherever you are, okay, if you cannot speak Benin, many of us are guilty of this. At least let them know how to greet their own family greeting. At least you know that. If you are from the Lamogu family, Latose family, Labo family, Lagete family, whatever family you are, let your children wake up in the morning and understand that they owe it a duty to salute you, Labo. Now, if you go past that, okay, for your sons, let them know that after eating, let them greet you, Kada. Very important. For your daughters, let them greet Eregwe. Start from there and let us start, inculcating these in the children because we are losing it. By the time our children grow up and they cannot express themselves in one word, okay, of their own native dialect, only in English, they, believe me, 2 generations after them would have forgotten that they are from a kingdom called Benin Kingdom. And we must do everything humanly possible to ensure that we preserve these beyond the next 10 generations. I tell you something, bro, and I've spoken to these, severally. Today, you hold the Nigerian passports. I hold Nigerian passports. Some of us, you hold the British passports. I hold the British passports. Some of us hold different passports, Spanish, American passport, every other thing. Do you know that before the Westerners started having passport as a piece of paper, okay, the Beninese already have passports. Before we even had a counter with any, Western civilization, before the Portuguese first came into the kingdom,
We had street lights.
we already had some of these basic things. You know what I'm saying now? Our passport was never a document, but our passport was embedded in our own upbringing. Every family in Benin has a family greeting unique to that particular family. People who are from the Oba family lineage, okay, they have their own special greeting. Every family, that is why you see people, they wake up in the mornings, their family greeting will be Labo, Lagete, Latose, Lamogun. Whenever somebody says Lamogun, for an average Benin man who understands the Benin culture, the person immediately knows that this person is from the Obas family. Now, further questions, we now know exactly where the root of this person is. But first and foremost, on the general scale, you already know that this Lamogu person is from the family of the Oba Benin. When somebody greets Lagete, you know exactly that this person is from this family. What lineage is this family from? Further interrogation will reveal that. But you are not going to go scouting the whole kingdom to know where this person is from. That was the first identifiable passport ever in the history of civilization. It came from the Benin Kingdom. And to date, that is our natural passport. It is not digital. You don't put it on paper. It is written in the heart of man. That is why if you look at the book of Jeremiah, even the Bible says, it said, no longer shall my commandment be written on graven images, but it shall be written in the heart of man. The passport of the people of Benin is written in the heart of the Benin people. And we must imbibe these in our children. Our children must wake up to know how to greet us in the mornings. Good morning is not an identity. Lamogun is an identity. It's our passport. Labo is our identity. It's our passport. So all of these, we must bring ourselves to terms with and begin to do the right things, because whether we like it or not, whether we speak the best English or not, if you are a Benin man, you are a Benin man. If you didn't dare, you didn't.
He didn't day.
God bless you.
Inyendeba. Anyway, Komilante, you have spoken very well, but I just want to add my mouth into what you've said. I think you spoke only to the Benin speaking language. In the whole of Edo State, there are so many languages. We may not be able to speak all of them, but in the spirit and the advice that Komilante has given, I want to appeal to everybody. I hear now that things have changed, that even in our own Edo State, people now speak English. Why is pardonable for those of us in diaspora, even though it's not pardonable, it is a thing of shame if you live in Edo State or indeed Nigeria and you cannot speak your native dialect. My father of blessed memory made it compulsory whilst we were growing up that in our house we must speak the Otuo language. That is why all of us children can speak the Otuo language. English was never spoken in our house, but I think I can speak better English in my own little way. So he made that possible. So if you are from Esan, you are from Otuo, you are from Esako, wherever you are from in the kingdom, Edo State, please endeavor to make sure that your words speak that language. And like Omelante has said, if you cannot speak everything, at least that initial passport of early morning, evening greetings, and after having dinner or lunch or breakfast. It is very important.
Yes.
I want to share a very personal experience. I am fortunate. I am from Edo State, and like many of our viewers know, I'm from the northern part of Edo State. I'm from Otuo. But I can speak a bit of all the languages. I was born and bred up in Benin, so I can speak Benin. That was a given. I even wrote Benin in my JSS exam. I've got lots of friends from Esan land, and I happen to be married to an Esan woman, so I can speak that. I have friends from Esako and different places, so I can speak a lot of that. In fact, I can get by with languages in Edo State. And only 4 years ago, my kids now can now recite the Edo anthem. There's this Edo anthem that we started playing from the time of 2020 when we were talking of Edo at 30 and all that. They can now say it. They can greet in Otuo and also greet in Isha. Even though we are struggling with language because myself and my wife, we speak different language. So the little you can do is very important. And like Omelante said, the world is becoming very dynamic. You never know where they will need it.
Yeah.
And even if you hold foreign passport, they first look at your color before asking you of your passport. And it's very important. So as we celebrate our great kingdom, as we celebrate the Oba of Benin 71st anniversary and 8 years in this throne, it is important for us to remember all these things that we've talked about.
Yes.
In the Comrade Show, time is not always our friends. We are about to run. But I'm very happy that Comrade and the members of the Board of Trustees of the Comrade Show decided that today is very epic. We must come to celebrate our Royal Majesty, Omonoba Nedo Obaewai II. Long may you live, and may your reign continue to witness tremendous progress, growth, and development. Comilante, we are about to wind down. I must thank all our viewers, especially those who have been contributing on our handles, making very useful comments. God bless you all. But Comilante, as we wind down,
Yes.
what will
Well,
be your parting shot as we commemorate this great day? Edo State, in 3 weeks' time, we have a change of government. Whip everything into it as you put your final words. As we celebrate what I've learned today, His Royal Majesty, HROM, Omonobanedo Obaewai II.
thank you very much, pharmacist. First, we need to continue to pray for the Oba of Benin. Each time we say Oba Atokbe, and we reply by saying Ise, we are praying for the Omonoba Neto Ukwa Bolo Bolo. Long may the Oba reign, and of course may his reign, be peaceful. That is what we'll always pray for. And while we are, celebrating the Oba of Benin, for me, today is also a reminder, like I said earlier, that I personally understand that I derive my essence as a human being, as a Benin man from this, palace. And we cannot take that away. It's a given. My identity stems from there. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that as Beninese, we need to do a lot more to continue to project our kingdom in a very positive light. And that is the only way that, of course, we can attract, more development to our state. On the part of the governor that has just been, of course, elected, that's going to be sworn in, Monday, I think he has a lot to do because there's a saying in the kingdom, Oba Winagwiyo Dole Doji. The Oba says everybody should join hands to help him upgrade, uplift, and build the kingdom. So, which means that if you are elected, if the grace of governance is thrust on you, you become an idol level, because anyone who project development, who fits into that ball of Odo level, it's one that Oba has requested to join hands with him, with the palace, to make Edo a better place. Now, interestingly, all of us have this responsibility. If you are from the kingdom and you are honest, you live in honesty, you understand what I'm saying now? Every small thing that you do with honesty, you are helping the Oba to make the kingdom a better place. You are an Odo level. You understand the bit of what I'm saying now? So everybody in the kingdom has the capacity to be an Odo level. You must not be elected governor or local government chairman or this, or even hold any position as such and all that. Just by just little things of honesty, okay, makes you an Odo level. If you are there, you are able to give some handout to some people who are unable to support themselves. You are an Odo level in your right. So I want to say that as we celebrate His Royal Majesty's, 8th year on his throne, 8 years on his throne, and of course his birthday, let us remember that, for every, act of kindness that we give to a Benin man in need and a Edo State man in need, a man who is identified as a member of the United Kingdom of Great Benin, to that extent, you are an Odo level. And so for the governor-elect who is going to become governor from the 12th of November, let him understand that by virtue of this position, he becomes the number one, okay, Odo level that Oba has requested to join hands with the palace to make Edo State a better place. And to that extent, I expect, that the governor, with all sense of loyalty, duty, and responsibility, will look at the status quo and try to resolve all issues that are capable of ridicule and bring, and nip everything in the bud and seek advice from the palace of the Oba of Benin on some of those things that he needs to seek advice on so that he can be better directed. Now, I hear that Mondo Pebolo, as a human being, is a nice person. I hear that often. He's a humble person. I hope that he would deploy his humility and his wisdom in this regard. And of course, I equally hope that his wisdom will come to bear to understand that it is not everybody clapping hands around him right now that is actually wishing him well. People may not look at him as, oh, am I wishing him well? But everybody planning to defraud those state people because they supported APC is not wishing Modukbewolo well. Everybody planning to hijack Modukbewolo's government, okay, to make sure they put people into his government that will be paying homage to them privately. They are not wishing Modukbewolo well. Ukbewolo must understand that he needs to choose a team that will first and foremost put patriotism on the front burner as a major objective of theirs. If he gets that done, then he would have disappointed many of us and probably may just come out to be a fantastic governor. Because at the end of the day, if he gets that right, he will become practically a proactive Odo level that Oba has requested to join hands with the palace to make Edo State a better place.
Thank you so much, Komilante. What a fine place to leave it. Come and help the Oba to build the kingdom, by extension Edo State, and by extension you become an Odo level. Thank you so much, Komilante, for that. From the staples of the Comrade Show, we want to say a very, very happy birthday to His Royal Majesty. We pray that your leadership will continue to witness peace, growth, and development. Above all, we pray for your sanity, and we also pray that God will give you good health, prosperity, and above all, sweet longevity. Thank you so much, friends and viewers of the Comrade Show. Happy anniversary to our Oba. See you again next week.
This is the commercial.